Good morning. It's Monday, May 12th. It is just after 9 o'clock in the morning, and I am Amy Novakuski, the CEO of Ginger Snap Works, and we build social businesses. I have my favorite marketer online with me, Ivana. How are you, Ivana?
I'm doing great. Ivana Taylor here from DIY Marketers. So,
Um,
Amy, what are we doing today? No big whoop.
well, yeah, I just wanted to talk for a second about this whole idea of no big whoop marketing. You and I have made it our mission to master Google Plus, the Google Hangouts on air, because we really do feel that it is the next big, powerful marketing tool for small businesses.
Correct.
So we figured the only way that you master something is by actually working it. So right? So we decided that we were going to do a quick little Monday morning marketing, no big whoop hangout. Grab your coffee, we'll talk some marketing, and we'll really become, in the process, masters at this whole crazy Google Plus thing.
I know, and you know, we got a little bit of a late start because no matter how many times you do Google Hangout, unless you're doing it every single day, um, we do a lot of Google Hangouts, and it's always a little tricky getting started, isn't it?
It is a little tricky. Well, here's the thing. This is perfect, right? Google Hangouts, like most forms of communication, was not designed for marketers.
Correct. It was designed for people to just get together and chat.
Right, hence Hangout. But now, like marketers do with everything, we co-opt it for our own use, right?
Correct.
So I think that's really where the biggest problem lies with Google Hangouts is that it's not quite mature enough yet to be at the place we as marketers want it to be.
Correct, correct. But I think one of the really great things, you know, it's like Twitter, it's like anything else. It's gonna get there, and there are people doing all kinds of things about it already, right? We've got folks like Webinar Jam leveraging this platform, right, so that they can use it for marketing. I don't know, probably dozens of other folks out there getting people to figure out how it works.
Right, and I think I really do believe that Google Plus and all the assorted products in that are where it's horrible being on video because then you see every little hair that's out of place and then you like just have to go and touch it.
Well,
So
you know, this is what I love about Google Hangouts. I don't know if you can see, but I got my feet up on my little chair, and I think one of the really great things about Google Hangouts is that by definition it is very casual. It is not highly professional looking video. You know, it's not, you know, and the system's a little bit tricky to use just yet.
well, this is a great segue into what we wanted to talk about today. That you just shared with me that you were up at 6 o'clock this morning to go to a spin class, right? And you absolutely hate working out, but it's something you have to do, right?
Ugh,
Right?
Amy,
Isn't that
talk
awful?
about pain in the ass. Do you know why I hate spinning?
Because
Hate,
it's a literal pain in the ass.
it's a literal pain in the ass.
You,
My
you
butt
have a
hurts
gel
for a
seat.
week.
You have to get a little gel seat cover for your spin bike.
I had a gel seat cover. I lost it because I decided I was never going to do spin again. I have no idea where the hell it's at. And so then I piled my jacket and some towels on top of it. I also wanted to tell you, Amy, that my goal in this class, you know, I think, how do I say this? My goal was really, it was going to be hard to keep up with the guy, right? There are people who have been doing this for a really long time, and I've been off of the exercise wagon for a really long time also, like I would say at least a couple years. And so I had to give myself a break. And the only goal I set for myself was to keep moving.
Oh, that's
I might
good.
not do everything that they're doing to the intensity that they're doing it, but I'm still moving.
That's a perfect, just like the absolute perfect segue into what we wanted to talk about, which was marketing. You may not love it, but you have to do it.
Have to do it, and you have to keep moving, right? You're not going to be a Brendan Burchard, or you're not going to be a, let's think of what's a big marketer, right? Like a John Jantz or whomever, right? But you have to take small steps and give yourself a break.
Right, particularly when you're a one-person shop or you're the one person in charge of marketing inside your company, right? You have to keep the engine going and keep progressing forward Because if all marketing stops in your business stops.
Well, guess what, Amy? Now,
What?
one of the things I was thinking about today is I have one more spin class, and I'm like, am I going to re-up, right, for the next one? And then I thought, if you don't like spinning, what else do you like? And believe me when I tell you, I have freaking tried a million different forms of exercise. And what do they tell you? They all tell you, go find something you love to do. Well, guess what, Amy? I don't like any of it. Do you know what I like?
What?
The few things I like, and you know some of the things I like. I like pizza, I like cheeseburgers, and I like creme brulee.
Those are not exercising, though.
That's correct. And those are, but if I want to keep eating those things, what do I have to do?
You have to keep exercising.
Got to keep exercising, right? So I guess that's what I want to tell people about the whole idea of marketing, right? You may not like the actual activities that are involved, and Lord knows you and I are here to help people really enjoy marketing activities. That's what we're up to in the world.
Right.
But at the same time, you may not love it as much as you like the results, like as we all like checks.
Right. And that's like you have to find your own. Now, you have to find your own way to fall in love with marketing, right? And it is an access to fall in love with your own company. Now, you and I were marketers, right? This is the area that we love. So if you're not a marketer, right, and you don't get excited by Super Bowl commercials or like, we'll often send emails back and forth to each other from other people's marketing emails and go, oh, did you see this thing? Look what she did here, right? That excites people like us. So what's a way that if you're not a marketer that you can start to fall in love with marketing?
Boy, that is a fantastic question. Let me think. I think that one of the really cool things about, okay, so I'll give you a real life example. I just had one today. It's a reinforcing system, right? The way we work, because quite frankly, we're nothing more than stimulus response mechanisms as human beings, right? Right? We're stimulus.
Wait, hold on a second. I think I need a sip of coffee before we continue that. Stimulus response mechanisms. Okay.
Correct. Just like any other little animal, right? We love pleasure and we hate pain, right? So you and I were having this conversation where I am looking for sponsors for Bizapalooza, and that means reaching out to people I don't know. And thanks to you, I've gotten lots of great little Twitter pickup lines and little strategies that have really helped me engage with folks, right? But I'm not going to kid you, it doesn't feel like super comfortable, right? However, I went through the process anyway, kind of like that stupid spinning class, right? I went through the process anyway. I showed up and I took action. And what happens is when you start getting responses back, like I just got an email from someone today that says, hey, we weren't going to do this, but now we're really thinking about sponsoring. And I'm like, yes, right? So it's that. It's the outcome, right? It's your cheeseburger. It's your creme brulee. It's the check that shows up. It's the positive response that you get afterwards that's going to make it worthwhile. So you have to give yourself, take small steps and then really acknowledge and celebrate even the smallest victory.
Yeah, like the smallest retweet is a victory.
Yes.
A retweet is kind of a big deal, right? A retweet is probably like the smallest form of acknowledgement that you can get in the social media world. But it's a big deal, particularly if you're retweeted by somebody who's big. Like I got retweeted by Mark Collier last night, right? He does blog chat.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has partnerships with people like Copyblogger, right? So he's like a high-level strategist. He's got, I don't know, something like 1.2 billion fans on Facebook, right? And he retweeted me last night. That's a big deal. That's, like, in my world, that's the equivalent to Beyonce giving you a kiss on the cheek, right? Woo! Yeah. So like, that for me is a marketing win because I strategically created that tweet to catch, not necessarily his attention, but the attention of people who were having that conversation, right? That's a marketing.
What was your tweet? Do you remember? What is the tweet that got
remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. I could go look it up, but we're chatting.
You would forget if Beyonce kissed you on the cheek, right? I don't know too many guys that would forget that. Or maybe some girls too.
I get lately I have been flooded with a lot of goodwill on Twitter. Like really key people favoriting things, retweeting things, following me. So it's lost in the flood of Twitter awesome that's been going on this past week. Since we did Twitter pickup lines, actually.
Oh, awesome. What do you think that it's something about, and that's the other thing that we're talking about, right? Taking a risk, because that was your question. What is your tip for people? And one of my tips was be in action and celebrate the smallest win, right? So the whole Twitter pickup lines, right? We can all be afraid of getting out there and postponing a marketing activity like doing a program or doing a Google Hangout or doing something. You can postpone it, but you can put systems in place to get you going, right? And then that feeds on itself, which creates your enthusiasm, which gives you enthusiasm right back.
Right. And I think, like, maybe I'm wrong here, right? But I find a lot of small business owners are like, ugh, when it comes to marketing. Do you find that true?
All the time. They want it to magically happen, and I wish I could, right, give them a magic bullet or some, like, magical something.
A little fairy wand of marketing awesome, right? You just walk in the head. So, and I feel the same way about sales conversations, right? I just do not want to pick up the phone and pitch a product to you. Ugh. And I was that way for the longest time. Some people out there in the entrepreneur world know Monica Shaw, right? She does the Money 2.0 tour. She's really about connecting you to the numbers inside your business, because if you don't know what's going on, you can't grow, right? She stipulates that as a business owner, you have to be doing 4 hours of revenue-producing activities, which include marketing. Most of it is marketing and sales conversations, right?
Correct.
So when I first met Monica Shaw, I was like, that's the last thing I want to do is spend 4 hours of my day calling on the phone, right? But then I had kind of because like sales conversations are weird. You have to ask for money and ask people to work with you, and then it's like, well, do they love me? Do they not, right? So I shifted my context around that. Like I shifted how I approach sales conversations, and I don't view them as sales conversations anymore. I view it as an opportunity to connect with another person and see if there's a way that we can partner together. Sometimes that partnership results in money in my bank account.
I love that.
So,
that is a great.
And that kind of like ties into my whole theory around marketing, that if you stop selling and you start being social, your marketing gets better. So maybe if you're a business owner and you're about to sit down to write like a series of marketing emails, stop thinking about them as marketing. Think of them as a way to communicate with the people who want to do business with you. Now, if you're a business owner and there's nobody who wants to do business with you, perhaps you shouldn't be in business. But there are people out there who want to give you money for the extra you have.
If you're getting at least one check a month,
right,
someone wants to do business with you.
Right. They love, somebody in the universe loves you, right? So what would it be like if you stopped sending out marketing emails and started sending out, I don't know, love notes, right? Or pieces of communication that really help you connect with other human beings.
That is such a big thing that you're talking about. I was on the phone with my SEO team just over the weekend, and guess what their most profitable strategy has been in years?
Tell me.
Right? So these guys are like local SEO folks, right? And one of the things that they absolutely have discovered is something that is very, very old. So it's like nothing new under the sun, right? They choose about, I think it's like 10 businesses a week that they send specific customized emails to. So it's not like all this stuff. What they'll do, remember, they're in the SEO business and their style is analytical. So talk about people that have really, really now embraced their style, right? They go, they have their ideal customer. They know exactly who that is. They go, they research those kinds of people's websites, and they do a quick little analysis, easy for them, big stuff for the recipient, right? And they write a little customized email, and they go, hey, this is who we are, we're here in your neighborhood, this is what we do, and hey, we noticed this thing on your site that if you made this one little change, it's really going to make a difference.
That's so brilliant. That
Right.
really is brilliant.
And it's working like gangbusters, right? So I've decided, now I'm not sure how I would leverage that for myself, right? Because I'm a different style,
Well,
right?
let me show you how that happened in the social media world just this week for me. Ivana, you introduced me to John Ferreira, who
Right.
is the CEO of Nimble, right?
Right.
And we had a little interaction back and forth, the three of us, being, cute and jokey and a little flirty. And what blew me away, I asked John to tell me, like in a tweet, so in 140 characters, why Nimble and what I could tell my clients about why they should have Nimble. So within a couple minutes, I got a tweet back saying, "Click this link; it'll give you all the information you need." And what that link was to a screencast of John speaking directly to me with a small, tiny, like 10-minute demo of the power of Nimble. Right? It was customized for me. He showed me my profile inside his Nimble page, how you can scoop up people's information and then direct communication towards them in about 10 minutes for a demo that was private to me, right?
Right. Right.
That was a brilliant piece of marketing communication because it showed, just like with your SEO company, they're experts. They care about you and what you're up to in this world, and they've got something that you actually need.
Right. Right.
It's a brilliant strategy to connect, because here's why, like, because you get that you're talking to other people, other real people, right? And you're not just trying to sell stuff, you're actually trying to improve their business.
And you know what's really great, Amy? I have to count myself in this group. I don't have the world's largest email list, but I do have a list of approximately 900 and some people that have been with me for a really long time. My list is bigger than that, but there's like 900 core folks in there, right? And one of the things that I've thought about doing for a really long time is reaching out to them one by one, right? And having that conversation. And this not only applies, like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. This is not some newfangled strategy, but if you're in a business, let's say you're an industrial company and you make lots of widgets and your audience isn't online, a lot of my clients are like that. Believe me when I tell you, if you're an industrial client and you are working with me, you got it. Like, it is not easy. I have products and customers that, like, people have never heard of, but you use them all the time, right? So they have lots of challenges. Maybe their audience isn't online. Maybe their audience just strictly works through email, right? So that said, you can actually still use this strategy, but you've got to put, just like the exercise, we're right back to the spinning class, right? Just like the exercise, we have to, how do I say this? Get in the process of doing something every single day. So reaching out to a handful of people and making that part of your process instead of just automating everything.
Right, right. And here's the thing, like, most people can't automate everything.
Correct.
Here's why. Okay, so if most small businesses are not in a click and buy model, right?
Correct.
If you're retail, your Toys R Us, right? People click on a link, they buy a product. There's no interaction with a human being that has to happen in between. That's not how I do business. Sure, like, I've got products. You could go buy Twitter pickup lines, right? As a $27 product, just buy that, watch it, it's great, right? But that's not the core foundation of my business. How my marketing pipeline works is, like, I meet people, they come in the pipeline over here, right? I meet people in very assorted different ways, and then other things happen. But usually before you become a client of mine, we have some form of personal communication. That might be on the phone, that might be in a Facebook chat, right? But there is personal communication, because I'm not a click and buy model. Most of us are not in a click and buy model. So you have to figure out a way, since you have to have a conversation with a human being anyway, why not have all your marketing set up as human to human communication rather than business to business, right?
Correct. I love that idea, and I think that that's where people really struggle. And there are so many tools. Hey, in fact, my SEO team introduced me to, I forgot what it was. Yes something. I'm going to tell you what it is.
Uh-oh.
I have to look it up, and it is, some people have heard of something called Tout app, Tout app. It helps you measure your email communication. But my SEO team introduced me to another one. It's called Yesware, YESWARE, email tracking. And what that allows you to do is have these sales and marketing conversations and track them. It tells you, there's some really, really great science out there that tells you that, let's say you put an email, and it's great with Chrome. In fact, this is the big deal. If you are using Google Chrome and Gmail, then you want to use Yesware. It is cheaper than Tout app. It has all kinds of great features. If you are using anything else, then, oh my God.
What?
I just got some kind of nasty Google email that says, would you like to work in the sex with me?
Oh, awesome.
How do you make somebody go away? How do you block that person?
Well, so that would be interesting human-to-human communication.
That is human-to-human. I thought it was somebody from my website. I have a chat up on my website that in case you need help or you want something, you can always reach out to me, which is what I thought it was. But here, it is, I think I'm going to try to block them. How do I block that person? Yes, thank you. Get away.
Well, that's fascinating. See what happens on a Monday morning with your coffee and your marketing?
I know, right? You're going to get proposition for all kinds of things, right?
Right.
So I should be feeling good about that. Somebody loves me.
You should, right? I don't know if they love you in the right kind of way, though.
I know.
So Yesware, right?
Well, Yesware, right? So if you're not on Google Chrome, then you might want to consider Tout app. But Google Chrome, I love it. So Yesware is cheaper. It's awesome. And what it allows you to do, so let's say, for example, if you are, how do I say this? If you are sending emails to folks, right, but it's a one-to-one, one-to-one communication. You can do mail merges. You can do all kinds of things. But this does not take the place of your Aweber or your Constant Contact or whatever it is that you're using, or your Infusionsoft. This does not take that place. This is an ideal tool for anyone who is in a one-to-one conversation with a prospect, right? You share information with them, and then you can see exactly when they've opened the email. You get a little notice that they've opened their email and read it. There's all kinds of tracking involved. I'm still exploring it to see how it would work. But if you're in the process of a regular system like my SEO folks of sending, let's say, 10 emails a day, to certain people with a specific message, this allows you to track your success rate.
That's really interesting because, if you're not measuring, you're not actually marketing.
Correct, right? And this is, and sometimes people are afraid of measuring. Those of us who are relationship kind of folks feel like you can't put a number on relationships, but you can definitely make your life easier. I mean, think about it. Isn't that what market segmentation really is? It's making it easier for you to speak to specific groups of people.
Well, here's why people don't like to measure, right? You step a little into the metaphysical a little bit. Because they make that number mean something about them.
Correct.
Right? If you're tracking revenue, right? How much money did I make today? And you put a 0 on there. That, you make that 0 mean this whole huge world about who you are as a person, right? And it's just a factual number. It's the same thing like stepping on the scale. Women have issues about stepping on the scale and seeing a number there because that number, they think, means some sort of value judgment about who they are as a person. Correct. So that's personal development work you have to do for yourself, right? As soon as you disassociate your personal worth from the tool that you use to measure, then that tool that you use to measure actually starts to mean something for you.
That's brilliant, right?
Yeah, look at click open rates, right? In the industry, a click open rate on an email campaign is somewhere between 19 and 25%. That's a good open rate, right? So if some people have it that if their email only gets opened by 14% of their list, oh my God, it was an awful email, I'm a terrible business person, I'm going to fail, blah, blah, blah. No, it just means that people were doing something other than reading their email. But if you're not related to the numbers of your marketing, you're not related to how your marketing is doing. If like I do this with Facebook all the time, you know, like if I do a specific kind of Facebook post, right? I track and see its progress. How many people did it reach? How much engagement did it get? If it went really well, let me try and recreate that experience because I want repeatable results.
Correct.
If it's so flat, I'm like, okay, why? Was it the mechanics of the post? Did I do something incorrect technologically wise while I was typing it in? Or was the content not correct? Was it not posted at the right time of the day? Did it not have the right language? Did the picture not use the right colors? Like, I find out why a particular post that I thought was going to do well fell.
How do you find that out?
You work with a professional.
I mean, no, seriously. So if somebody were to be where, that's one of the things that attracted me to you in the first place is this idea that it's not just throwing social content out there and engaging with people socially. It's actually measuring. And actually, the bottom line is if you're not so hot at measuring, like I would say that I'm not so hot at measuring, you want to bring someone like that onto your team who's really great at measuring, right? So
Yeah,
when you are measuring, you know, what are some, how do I say that? What are some, I don't want to say processes that you use or tips that you have around measuring so that people could really understand the value that measuring brings?
Right. So when you're looking at social media, one of the reasons why I love social media is because you get so much data, right? There's so much incredible data out there around.
Feedback.
Yeah, it's immediate feedback, right? So let's take Facebook, because Facebook has the richest, most deep kind of data. So you do a Facebook post, and after it posts, it tells you how many people it reached on the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see how many people liked and how many people commented on it, right? Those are three really interesting numbers. There's a secret hidden number also inside Google Facebook Analytics that I can show you, which is your true engagement number. Because here's the thing, like engagement, there's one part of engagement that you don't see, and that's how many people clicked on a post. Now, there's lots of reasons why people would click on a post. One is because they click the link that's in the post. They click on the image to see a bigger version of the image.
Yes, true.
But it shows you that someone physically interacted with that piece of content.
Gotcha.
So that's another interesting measure, and it's kind of hidden on Facebook. But for like the normal person, because I'm not normal when it comes to Facebook, right? Look at your reach and your numbers of likes. If you think it was a really great post and it didn't reach as many people and it didn't get the engagement that you thought it should, the first place you look is, did you post it at the right time of day? Right? And Facebook, if you go into your insights panel, will have some information about that, about when content goes well. That's usually the first fault of a Facebook post that does not do well. Because think about it. Think about if you were the customer, when are you using Facebook? Like, I do a lot of work inside the mom community, right? I have clients who market to moms. So moms are a little tricky to nail down on Facebook. And
right, because it's like, when is nap time? When is, right? When you have a few minutes to yourself, right?
But over the course of years working with clients that work with moms, I've figured out some patterns, right? Moms are really active on social media before 9 a.m. and after 7 p.m.
Got it.
A 1 to 3 window also, because that's when they've got time to themselves, right? They check their Facebook while they're having coffee in the morning, before while they're getting kids ready for the school bus, right?
Right.
They check Facebook after they put the kids to bed for night, right? So if you can capitalize on those 2 time frames, that's awesome. But here's the thing: those rules get broken come like June 1st when kids go on summer vacation.
Right. Right.
So you have to change your whole pattern up for the summer, because moms will then be more active in the afternoon period. And the only way you know that is by watching your Facebook page. That's why social media is not a set it and forget it phenomenon. You have to be in there watching it.
Correct.
Right? So if a piece of Facebook content did not do how you think it would, go to the first place to look at how to improve that piece of content is the time of day.
Oh, that's such a great tip. But, you know, the other thing you said that I thought was really interesting is this idea of, did I use the right color for the picture? I mean, how could you ever even know anything about photos and what works?
Oh, that's perfect. So I take when I work one-on-one with a client, we do target audience work, right? I mean, every marketer does target audience work, but I go through a really different level, a different set of questions, and I have you picture your ideal client, like the person who's going to be the most fun, the easiest to work with, and give you the biggest paycheck, right?
All about it.
And then we go through what do they watch on TV? What magazines do they subscribe to that come to the house? When they go to Barnes & Noble, what magazines do they pull off the rack to read while they have their coffee?
Got it. Oh, I do that too, but you use it differently. How good is that?
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Like, so we kind of come up with, like, a media profile for the person. Now, and there's a spectrum, right? Since we're doing 50 Shades of Marketing, there's always a spectrum for me, right? And on one side, you have, like, reality TV, Honey Boo Boo, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and on the other side, you have, Downton Abbey.
Got it.
PBS science shows.
Got it.
Right? Those kinds of people respond differently to graphic images. Like, look at, like, if you took a screenshot of the logo for, like, Honey Boo Boo and Downton Abbey next to each other. Honey Boo Boo is nice, bright, neon colors, super high contrast.
Gotcha.
This side of it is jewel tones, right? They're a little darker, deeper, richer colors. The person who resonates with those kind of shows also resonates with media that shows up that way, right? So if you're over here in the spectrum of where people like reality TV, like game shows, it used to be the stories, right? Like soap operas.
Right.
From our generation, like soap operas don't really exist anymore, right?
Yeah, they really don't, but all about it.
On that side of like more in-your-face television, you can do more in-your-face kind of marketing. If you're on this side where, you know, you're watching the History Channel and PBS and like HBO dramas, right? You're a little more reserved. You have to go with wittier humor and a little more intellectual humor, right?
Got it.
And it's not a judgment about which side of the spectrum.
No, totally not. Right. I get it.
It's about how you consume information, and you can see this in every marketer does some sort of color analysis. Like big marketers, the advertisers. That's why like fast food chains tend to go with really primary colors, right? Because that resonates with a lot of people. But luxury car brands, they go with the jewel tones and silver and black, right? Because it tells a different story. So like that's the kind of level that I put into the social media marketing campaigns that I do for clients, making sure that the images will even resonate with people. You know, when do you use pastels? When do you use rainbow colors? When do you use like jewel tones? You know.
That's awesome. That's just such a great tip. I mean, this is even inside of that conversation. It's really a terrific. I love how you take the same process that I use, but you just apply it differently. And actually, the point I want to make about that you didn't say, but I know you mean. One of the things I always tell people is go into the bookstores and go and watch what the TV channels are doing, because they've invested bazillions of dollars, not just millions, but probably trillions in market research and fMRI brain analysis to know exactly what resonates. Believe me, if you've read any of Malcolm Gladwell's stuff, who was it? Was that him? No. And you know what other one is? Martin Lindstrom and his brand washed books. You know the lengths to which big brands go to know exactly how you tick.
And I think that is a hot DIY marketing tip, Ivana, is use other people's research capabilities. I mean, you can Google for almost anything.
Correct.
Right? So if you Google for color theory in marketing, you're going to get tons of stuff.
Correct.
So that's like your sneaky marketing tip as a solo entrepreneur or a small business owner when you're DIYing a lot of your marketing, is utilize other people's research. I follow a ton of brands inside social media because I want to know what they're creating and what does really well, right? So and I will be the first one to admit I steal shit all the time.
All day long. We call that adapting.
We call it a swipe file. Awesome stuff that other people have done, and you recreate it in your own way. Now, let's just get this really clear for people. when you and I say we steal shit from other people, you don't copy and paste.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Actually, here's a great DIY strategy, right? This is how I use it, right? If I find some really fantastic copy, I cut it and I paste it into a document. And then I take each sentence. So if it's in a Word document, you take each sentence and you restate it. And then if you run through that once, you run through that twice, because no copy is going to be perfect for you. Even copy you write yourself is not going to be perfect for you. So just taking sentence, if you don't know what to do and it seems too overwhelming, sentence by sentence, rewrite the sentence in your own words, and then erase the original one and just keep the ones you wrote, and then try it again.
You know, I do that with social media all the time. When I've had a client that I've worked with for years, I'll go back and be like, all right, what did we do last spring that was really successful? Great, here's a post about rain boots, right? Let's recreate that post, bring a new image into it, state that, you know, rewrite the sentence that we wrote about it, and launch it again, right? I think to make marketing sane for yourself, you need to repeat what's worked, figure out what didn't work, and then evaluate and adjust from there.
Right, and it's really, you know, as we come up to the hour or wherever we're at on here, it really is a function of converting a pain in the ass into a passion.
Oh, I love that.
Peanut a passion is what I like to call it, right? To be really excited about it. I am such a stand for small business owners. What makes marketing easy isn't the doing, it's the being, right? So if you're doing something that naturally works with who you are, a lot of garbage is just going to fall to the wayside. And like you said, where you started reframing your sales conversations, you can reframe your marketing conversations, right? I have one of my coaches, one of my very, very first coaches said to me, Ivana, whatever you do not sell anything, right? She was saying, get out of the space of selling and get into the space of having conversations that you're passionate about.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And like, you know, I'm going with the Stop Selling, Start Being Social tagline right now, because that's really what it's about. Like, let's be honest. Like, we go shopping with our girlfriends because it's more fun, right?
Right.
What if every client you had was that kind of relationship?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just, it makes quote unquote work seem like play.
Right. Right.
But we're working right now. Woohoo!
I know. So Ivana, are you up for another round of No Big Whoop Marketing Monday morning?
I'm up for another round, and it'll be fun to see. I think one of the things we ought to really do is make sure we show people that we've got some really awesome tips. I think that I would like to maybe have some of this content created in different ways so we can share, because we've had lots of awesome tips on here that we might want to share with people in a more bulleted fashion.
That is right. That's awesome. That's an awesome suggestion. And I'm going to move the location of this next week. It's going to live on a new Google community that I'm creating called The Social Business.
Awesome.
Because, you know, we're talking about H-to-H communication, human-to-human communication, and marketing and selling. So I'm creating that community, The Social Business, that I will have finished in the next couple of days. And this Monday morning hangout will be there. So, Ivana, if I wanted to get in touch with you, how would I do that?
Anybody, just head on over to DIYmarketers.com, where you will find your marketing personality style assessment, find out, focus all your marketing on what you love to do. DIYmarketers.com is where to reach me.
Awesome. And I'm Amy Novokuski with Ginger Snapworks, and we build social businesses through relationship marketing and social media content. You can go to gingersnapworks.com, and I'm so excited about this. I'm launching a new tip email series called the Social Media One Bite. So it'll be one actionable thing that you can put into play right now, today, this very second, that will help shift your marketing world.
And you got a ton of them right in this hangout.
You sure did. So Ivana of DIY Marketers, thank you so much for joining me Monday morning. And I'm out of coffee, so I'm going to have to go get myself some more. And again, this is Amy Novokuski with Ginger Snapworks, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.